So I've been asking people this question lately, so I'm kind of curious to see what your thoughts are. But who should buy a business, or who should be a business owner? What type of person? Because we're getting people that are kind of saying, I want to buy a business, or I want to be a business owner, maybe start one. And maybe some people it's not the right fit. So, in your opinion, what type of person should be a business owner?
If you want to be a business owner, y- there is a fancy aspect to it, and there also something that is not much fancy that you would like to talk about. I mean, in a business like the one that I bought, you have to be willing to get your hands dirty. Since because you're a owner, you cannot go out and just sit in your room and then just keep doing what you're doing. You have to be able to get your hands dirty. You should be okay with that. And yeah, a person who is going to be a business owner, obviously he should value his independence more. Okay, he should value the independence. He should value the freedom that he's going to get in this. And they should be willing to go ahead and wear a lot of different hats.
Hmm.
So they cannot be a specialist. They can be a specialist, but they should be willing to wear a lot of hats, and you have to have a good reasonable understanding of the general management. If you are not going to be interested in general management, if that is not your cup of tea, then the business, small business or the business ownership is not going to be a good fit. You have to have a reasonable understanding of the financial aspect of the business. So you should understand what is the profit and loss statement, what does the balance sheet stand for. You can learn all those things, but those are things that you should, even though you're not going to look at it every day, but you should be able to understand that. So the general management and the financial aspect is something that you have to understand it. Even though you are a technocrat, you have to understand those things, and you should be okay to handle those things in order to this thing. And at the same time, it's not just the being a business owner. Sometimes you will be a good fit for a business to run a business in a business A, but not a good fit for running a business B. That is also you have to be aware of. I mean, if you let's assume that you hate totally a sales, you're not a salesperson, right? And then you don't want to buy a business where you are going to be the only primary salesperson.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah,
So
people
yeah,
do that. I think it's interesting. They kind of get themselves into some trouble. Yeah, makes sense.
yeah. So you want to make sure that obviously being a whether owning a business is good for you or not, that is one thing. But the second one is whether the business is going to be a reasonable fit for you. And third, especially when you're going to go and look to buy a business, as I said, you should be willing to relocate to some place, or at least go around to other place. You can't just expect the business is going to come to your city where you are currently living, which might happen, but you should be willing to go to some other places too. That is another thing that you should be willing to do it. And the one good thing about the business is you are your own boss, but it doesn't mean that you are not going to be answerable to anybody else. You will be answerable. You are answerable to vendors, you are answerable to customers, you're answerable to investors if you're going to get some investment, and you have to make sure that you are satisfying your employees, keeping them happy, and making sure everything is all going smooth. So people say that, okay, you can do whatever you want, but you're still answerable to a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely makes sense.